Hello, this is Steve, and you're on the Living in Southwest Virginia channel. I want to thank everyone for watching. Got an interesting rifle here that I've intended to make a video on for a while, and then it was a request from my buddy Mark at the Garage Guy channel, 879. Everybody check out his channel. This is a J. Stevens Ballard design rifle. From what I can find, it was made back in about the 1870s up to about 1881, and I'll have more information on that here in a minute. Later on, it was rechambered, not rechambered, but rebarreled by a gunsmith up in Michigan, somewhere between the 1920s and 1940. And I've got some information on that gentleman also. This rifle is chambered in .22 long rifle, has a very heavy barrel, I'm guessing about an inch. And there has been some extensive modifications to it, things that I feel like probably the gunsmith that rebarreled it didn't do. I think probably, and all this is just guesses, but I'm guessing that a owner later on decided to do some rework to it to make it more shootable as a bench rifle. And we'll pick the rifle up. It is unloaded. It's a falling block action. I have an empty piece of brass in it that I stuck in there instead of a snap cap to protect that firing pin. But the rifle is unloaded. And if you look at the markings, I'm going to hope that we can get a good view of it. If it may be hard to get a good view, I'll try to attach a picture to this video at this point. But this is a JM Marlin JM Marlin New Haven, and it's got a patent number on it, and I will attach a picture of all that. And there has been some modifications. Previous owner, as I believe, has cut out the stock to make a better cheek rest, and it does give you a pretty good cheek weld. And they have added this piece of wood at the bottom to give you more of a pistol type grip. And because they did that, they had to cut this lever off, which I wish it wasn't cut off, but you know, it is what it is. You look back at the end of the barrel, and it appears to me like the barrel has been cut off because there's a lot of the finish looks like it's been sanded off here so they could add this front sight. But it does have a good crown on it. It's a heavy rifle. It's a pretty good shooting rifle. I have had it out at the range and shot it several times, and it does some pretty good groups. It has a pretty good trigger pull. Amazed, I'm not sure. It does look like there's been some work done on this trigger. You maybe can't see it, but I think it has been straightened, and there's some texturing to it. And I believe that they've also worked on the internals, because it does have a very light trigger pull. And that could have possibly been the smith that did that. Let's fire this thing up. My Lyman trigger pull gauge. Well, it has a pretty good trigger pull if you cock it before you try a trigger pull. If you try it with the hammer down, it doesn't do very well at all. So let's try this again. All right. Uh, 1 pound, 1.7 ounces. £1 pound, 3.9 ounces. 1 pound, 1.6 ounces. So it's running a little less than 1 pound, 2 ounces, and it's fairly consistent. It has a good feel to it. I really like this trigger. And let's turn this thing off. Well, all right. So I bought this rifle at a local gun shop over in Saltville, Virginia, about 2 years ago. And I'm not sure who brought it in. It's information I would like to have. For its age, I think it's in pretty good condition. There is some wear on the finish back here behind the trigger. And of course, that wear up front where that front sight is. Originally, it came with 2 small blocks for putting one of those long scopes on it, the antique scopes. I looked at those, but the pricing on those is so high that I didn't choose to put money into one. So I put this Ride-On it. This is a Ride-On 6x24, second focal plane scope. It's a good scope. I've had it on several rifles, and I like it pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some information on the computer on the history of these rifles and the history of the smith who rebarreled them. So please stand by. Site called capandball.com, and they've got some history of Ballard rifles on here. The part that we're concerned with is that the holders of the patent made arrangements with JM Marlin to work over the old patent and begin production in his plant. The first Marlin-made Ballards made their debut in 1875. Between years 1875 and 1891, JM Marlin and the later Marlin Firearms Company offered 20 different models of Ballard rifles. We'll go back over to this forum, which is marlincollectors.com. We've got a post that says, since a Ballard is marked JM Marlin, it would have been made sometime between 1875 and 1881. After 1881, the Ballards were marked Marlin Firearms Company. So my rifle was made sometime in that date range, 1875 to 1881. It's probably the oldest rifle I've got. I do have an 1879 Remington number 4. No, excuse me, it's a Remington number 1. All right. Then, and I will put pictures up of the JM Marlin markings and the markings for the man who rebarreled them, which was and there we go, Adolph Otto Neider, AO Neider. He was a crack rifle shot and was a Wildcat cartridge innovator responsible for developing a 22 long rifle and the 25 Neider, today known as 25-06. And I find that very interesting that he created super accurate rifles for customers such as Colonel Ulan and Ned Roberts. All right, and then we can go to the Wikipedia entry, and it says again that he was remembered for pioneering work with the 22 long rifle and 25-06 Remington. And he moved to, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, and any of you guys from Michigan feel free to correct me, Dowiac, Michigan in 1920 to establish the Neider Rifle Company, specialized in chambering and single-shot rifles. And he sold the business following the death of his wife in 1940. So the rifle was rebarreled at some time between 1920 and 1940. At least I would assume so, because the barrel is marked with this Michigan location on it. And I do believe, as I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, that that barrel may have been cut down at some point, because it doesn't look like the original finish there on the end. It's been sanded off to where that sight would fit back on it. So here is a picture of a Marlin Ballard 22 rifle I found online. And if you'll notice, this has got the double curve in the lever, and my rifle has been cut off right here. The stock has been milled out. If it is this same stock, it's been milled out here for the cheek weld. The butt has been cut off, or else it had a straight butt in the beginning and a rubber butt pad on it. And it's a little different forearm, but this shows you what the original rifle looked like. And like I say, I would love if this rifle was in original condition, but I do like the modifications because they do make it more shootable, and they kind of tell a story of that shooter that modified this rifle, and I like the history behind it. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I appreciate you watching. Uh, hope this video is interesting to you guys. I know this is an interesting rifle to me. When I saw it, I had to have it. But I want to thank you again for your viewership. If you find this video interesting, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And this is Steve, living in the Southwest Virginia channel, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for your view.